Hey everyone, it's CurlyHairedHero, and welcome back to some more Prince of Tennis 2005 Crystal Drive. So, it's basically been roughly a year, maybe a little less, maybe a little more, since the last time I've actually played this game. And I'll start off right off the bat by saying this is actually a post-commentary. I did actually record a bunch of this, so first off, I guess expect a lot more of this to be coming in the future. But I did record a good amount of this, but two of the episodes, specifically the ones wrapping up the this mix match challenge or cup or tournament, whatever you want to call it. For whatever reason, the audio for that came out really bad. Sometimes when I do when I record, and then sometimes my noise profile that I use to reduce noise, it is too harsh randomly sometimes, and it'll make my voice sound really bad. And then sometimes it'll just happen. That's why there's just some videos that are just like that. I feel like that happens a lot with Prince of Tennis, but usually I'm just like, fuck it, just put it out, right? Can't sound that bad. But this time I was like, no. I'm tired of this wishy-washy throwaway content that I make sometimes. So I wanted to make sure that this time around it actually sounded good. But yeah, here I'm just kind of messing around. I don't really remember my character specials all too much, which is why I kind of just threw out that taunt special there, which wasn't half bad, because apparently it boosts, or I should say boosts, it completely fills up my super meter, which is pretty cool, especially considering that I was kind of trashing that entire game. So I did pretty good there. But in any case, for the most part, I do want to go over what I mentioned in the original recording of this video, which is sort of why I decided to go over it rather than just release it again, because I'm trying to sort of bridge the gap between sort of what I've recorded before and what I'm going to try and record in the future. So basically, as you know, this is Prince of Tennis 2005 Crystal Drive. It's a tennis game based off the Prince of Tennis series. I played it a lot on my channel very early on. It was actually the second video that I ever recorded of all time. I'll give you a little bit of a curly hair trivia. So the first video that ever went up to my channel was the first episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! Eternal Duelist Soul. That was the first episode that premiered, aired on my channel. But the first thing I ever actually recorded was an Alien Hominid video. It's a really old game. It used to be a Flash game on Newgrounds, and they released it on the Game Boy and also on the GameCube, and I think they're actually even making a new version for the Switch now, which is pretty cool. But it's a relatively old game, and for some reason I felt like I wanted to start recording with that game. So that was the first thing I ever recorded, but the audio for that was really bad and it was kind of meh. So I never actually ended up using that or releasing that. But afterwards, the first time I ever recorded something that I was actually happy with and felt like actually editing and releasing was Prince of Tennis. It was, I think, the very first match that I ever played of this was against Teska, which is one of the better characters in the entire series, which is kind of funny. But since then, I've kind of played the game with its own sort of set of how do I explain this? It has its own sort of style, because recently I've developed that I've started making intros for the series, and typically I do it in quote-unquote seasons where I beforehand actually take a look at the set of tournaments that I can play for a decent amount of time, get a good amount of episodes in, and I look at the tournaments that are available that I haven't played yet and that I need to play to unlock characters, and I'll kind of take a look at them and set them up in a quote-unquote season and play them. And then judging from what characters I'm going to use in those tournaments, I will make an intro, which is really fun. And then we kind of just play tennis, and I talk about tennis, talk about fitness in general, talk a little bit about the actual Prince of Tennis series, stuff like that. So it's been one of the more formulaic series on my channel, which is really good. And there's also surprisingly one of the longer series. I think this is like episode 50 something. I think we're up to like 52 or 53 or something like that last time I left off. And then it's also one of the series that, unsurprisingly, has done really well view-wise, but that's primarily just because they're old, really old. So they've been out there for a very long time. So I'm not too surprised about that. But in any case, I figured now would be more than enough good time to get back into it. I've been having a little bit of issues sort of figuring out what it is that I want to record, and I've been talking about that a lot previously, especially now that I've moved back. So I guess let me back up a little bit. I did record this sort of consistently. I think I set it up that I was doing it on Sundays or Saturdays, one of those two. It was between that and Showdown Quickies, which was just me playing Pokemon Showdown. But the views for that weren't doing too great, in my opinion, so it was just more of like stuff that I wanted to do, but I figured people wouldn't care about, so I threw it into like the weekends or whatever. But anyways, that's not important. So I was trying to do that while I moved over to Florida. So I had moved over to Florida. I've talked about that a couple of times, but while I was in Florida, I did record a good amount of videos while I was there, but I also took a lot of different breaks and changed up a lot of the stuff that I was doing. And one of those changes was that I did start, like, at the get-go, I think I started recording this along with a couple of other things. But then when I took my first break, I just never picked up this game ever again. And there wasn't really a huge reason for that. I just, at some point, was like, oh, I don't really feel like playing this. And I kind of just forgot about it. And from time to time, I'd be like, oh, right, I used to play that. I was like, oh, I should bring that back someday. And I went on and did a bunch of other dumb shit instead. But now, what I mainly, or was previously doing, was I was doing a lot of Pokemon Sword and Shield Wi-Fi ranked battles. And that was a lot of fun. But I felt like that was the only thing I was doing. So I decided to take a small break from that. For an entire season, or series, as the game describes it, a ranked season, basically. And I'm going to try and bring that back, but while doing that, I inherently took a break from recording again, and that was primarily just because I was getting adjusted to a new job that I'm working now, but also I don't like dating videos, so I usually don't bring up current events, but there's the whole coronavirus issue that's going on right now, so that kind of changes up how everything is. So in light of all of that, we're getting more Prince of Tennis. 2005 Crystal Drive is basically all that I'm saying. But yeah, I didn't stop recording this because I didn't like it or anything like that. I just kind of forgot and I started doing other things. So we're gonna try and start recording this again. And it's also kind of somewhat good timing. It would have been more timing if I actually did it in Florida. So it's more ironic timing. Because I was actually playing a lot of tennis in Florida versus when I was actually recording this, I wasn't playing as much tennis. Whereas like when I should have been recording this and I didn't, I was playing a whole butt ton of tennis. But I'll try and get a little bit more into that as these videos start rolling out. There was something sort of bad, I guess, that happened to me, but I'll get a little bit more into that next episode. I'm trying to sort of calculate, or not recalculate, rethink what it was that I talked about. Because like I said, I recorded a couple of episodes and I had to go back and re-record these two. So I already mentioned a couple of other things in the previous episodes, so I don't want to basically say the same shit that I already said, but I also have to give you some context because the videos coming forth may be based on some of the things I said now, so I kind of want to make sure I stay in line, if that makes a lot of sense. So for most of this video, I just remember blabbing on about like, hey, it's back, hey, it's tennis, how do I do thing? I don't remember how to do thing, which is primarily what it was. But yeah, now we're towards the very end of the video now, but I guess I can talk about what actually happened on screen. which is fine. That's usually what happens with these Prince of Tennis videos, so I usually come back to them. And since they've been such a long staple of my channel, they usually serve as like small channel updates and like behind the scenes kind of stuff as well. As much as I try to avoid that kind of stuff because I feel like I do it way too much, this series is kind of primarily known for that, so it's kind of fine. But last time I left off in this mixed match tournament. I don't remember the name of it. I don't know if it's like an open mixed match or if it's like the Kanto mixed match or something like that. I know I've already started it, and we already did the first and the quarterfinal round, and this is actually the semifinal round. And with this here, it would have been the end, but Roma actually go ahead and did B drive. I think that no, that was the snake. I think that was the Kaido's snake that he just did. Because I was trying to do a special to finish this off, and then I think here I get tired of his shit, and oh no, he actually, oh no, that was in. Okay, thought he hit it out and that was the match. No, he's rallying back. He's got here. I had a couple of match breaking points here, but I'm gonna finish it off here with my special finally, and take out Ryoma, the Prince of Tennis. So in the next video, we're actually going to be in the final round of this mixed match tournament, and then I'm going into a little bit more detail of sort of what was happening to me while I was in Florida, the actual tennis I played in Florida, and somewhat what will be happening with these videos going forward. But in any case, take care of yourself.